Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So today we are going to continue with chapter 8, which is on e-commerce, digital markets and digital goods. In this chapter, we are going to look into the features of e-commerce, digital markets and also digital goods. We are going to look into the principle of e-commerce business and technology and also the applications and tools used in digital marketing. When we talk about e-commerce, I think everyone have tried and used it and you have your own experiences. Especially now when we are staying at home most of the time. So, just to keep you thinking, so think about what have you purchased maybe today or yesterday or maybe a few days ago, right? So think about your experiences using the e-commerce. So did you use your cell phone to search for the product, to purchase it, or did you use your computer? Typically, e-commerce would support both mobile, which is your cell phone, and also any computer to do any purchase. What is e-commerce? E-commerce is the use of the internet and the web to transact business. It began in 1995 and grew exponentially, still stable even in a recession. Companies that survived the dot-com bubble now thrive, and the new e-commerce that are using social, mobile, and also locally. So we have moved from the desktop to smartphone. E-commerce is not something that is new, but it has mirrors other type of technology innovations. So what do you think the other innovations that e-commerce is similar to? For example, we have cassette music, VHS videotapes, and even CDs and DVDs. So those innovations are still with us, but have declined in sales. Think of it this way. How many of you still buy CDs or DVDs, or even cassette? Many of us would buy it as a collection rather than using those to listen to music, for example. This is mainly because on your laptop or even in your car, many newer model are not equipped with any DVD player or CD player or even the cassette player. If you want to keep it old school, then you can always buy the external player separately. So since internet is no longer a problem, so it's much easier if say that we use Spotify and then pay for the premium to get access to any music. So Spotify is an example of e-commerce because you use the internet and the web to transact business. This slide, it shows the figure on the growth of e-commerce. So this graph is based on the data from eMarketer US retail e-commerce sales in 2018 up until 2022. So it illustrates the continuing growth of e-commerce. The growth of e-commerce revenues grow 15% to 25% a year until the recession in 2008 until 2009, when they slowed measurably to a small positive number around 3% in 2009. This was much better than traditional retail commerce, which actually shrank in this recession. E-commerce began growing again after 2009 at more than 10%, which is several times the growth of all retail sales. So this line graph charts the continuing growth of e-commerce between 1995 and 2021. E-commerce revenues grew from just over zero in 1995 to about 240 billion in 2007, when sales flattened until 2009. From 2009 through 2021, revenue grows from about 240 billion to about 1,050 billion in 2021. Why e-commerce is different? So this slide introduces the unique features of the internet. These features explain why e-commerce has grown so quickly because of the unique nature of the internet and e-commerce which are richer and more powerful than previous technology revolutions such as radio and TV. E-commerce allows ubiquity. This is because the market space is virtual and the transaction cost can be reduced. We are able to surf the web on the mobile device wherever we are, and even when we are riding a bus or in the train. The second one is global reach. Transactions cross cultural and national boundaries. So we are able to buy any products from different countries. So think about, what have you purchased? Have you bought anything from outside of Malaysia? While it is easy to buy from anywhere in the world, you have to keep in mind what are the taxes that might occur when you buy from overseas. The third one is universal standards. One set of technology standards, which is the internet standards. So we are able to exchange files with someone else over the internet. This is mainly about the TCP/IP that we have looked into in the previous topics. E-commerce supports video, audio, and text messages. For example, YouTube. There are many ways to generate income through YouTube. YouTube is an example of e-commerce. E-commerce allows interactivity to happen. For example, using a chat window to interact with technical support at a merchant's website. This is much easier and quicker when you have any question about the product or any problems that occur from your purchase. For example, I'm just sharing from my experience. So, I am using a SIM card from the UK, and then I had some problem to top up my credit. Usually, I would walk up to the store or I would call them and ask what is wrong and what can I do about it. But since I'm in Malaysia, calling to the UK would cost quite a lot of money. And there's also the time difference problem. So, instead of calling, I use the chat window that they have on their website. Within 10 minutes, everything got settled. So, a chat window is very useful if it is being used correctly. Another experience that I got from using the chat window is dealing with the product that I purchased. I wanted to return the product and use the chat window to ask about the processes. I was expecting, because it's a chat, it should happen quite quickly, but instead it took them several days to get back to me. So I guess it's much easier to just email or call them rather than use the chat window if they are not going to reply quickly. The main concept in e-commerce to have quicker interaction between the merchants and also the customer. However, not all websites, not all merchants are able to live up to the expectation. Information density. Greater price and cost transparency enables price discrimination. Because everything is on the web, it is much easier to find hundreds of prices for the same product online from different merchants. Personalization or customization. So the technology permits modification of messages or any goods. For an example, Amazon. It is a website that can adjust to your preferences. E-commerce also allows the use of social technology to promote user content generation and also any social networking. For example, when you upload your videos to YouTube. Key concepts in e-commerce: digital markets and digital goods in a global marketplace. Today's slide introduces digital markets and discusses the effects of digital markets on the ways companies conduct their business. So, internet and digital markets have changed the way companies conduct their businesses. Some of the effects of e-commerce include information asymmetry reduced, menu costs, search and transaction costs reduced, dynamic pricing enabled, switching costs, delayed gratification, and also disintermediation. As an example, say that you want to buy a shirt. It takes time and money to go to a mall to find the shirt, which this is the search cost. The same shirt can be bought on the web with minimal search costs. That can be one of the reasons why e-commerce can strive. It is simpler and much quicker. This figure shows the benefits of disintermediation to the consumer. So this is the typical distribution channel that has several intermediary layers, each of which adds to the final cost of a product. For an example, a sweater. Removing layers lowers the final cost to the customer. It also allows manufacturers to earn more profit for the product by eliminating the middleman. Even though market disintermediation sounds like a good thing because costs and prices go down, for most part, manufacturers kept their distribution partners and channels. Are middlemen really necessary? Who do you think a middleman is? For an example, Tesco is a distributor and also a retailer. So, do they provide an important function? Why can't manufacturers just ignore Tesco and sell directly to the customer? Manufacturers kept their distribution partners and channels. For example, say that we have Adabi and also Maggi. Tesco is still needed by those manufacturers to sell their products. You can always buy those products directly from their official website. However, you can see that there is no difference in terms of the prices. Why do you think the price remains the same? It might be that they have some hidden middleman in between them. Going back to this figure shows 3 examples of manufacturers with different levels of intermediation and how these levels related to the cost of the same sweater. In the top example, a distributor and retailer intermediate between the manufacturer and customer, resulting in a sweater price of $48.50. In the second example, just a retailer intermediates between manufacturer and customer, and the sweater price drops to $40.34. In the third example, there is no intermediation between manufacturer and customer, and the price of the sweater has dropped to $20.45. One of the key concepts in e-commerce is digital goods. So what is digital goods? It is goods that are delivered over a digital network. The cost of producing the first unit is almost the entire cost of the product. The cost of delivery over the internet is very low. However, the marketing costs remain the same. So, pricing is highly variable. Industries with digital goods are undergoing revolutionary changes, for example, publishers and record labels. Music, for instance, used to be a physical product, which is a record or a CD, not a digital product or digital service. What benefits and drawbacks do they have? Compare digital goods and also traditional goods. Which one do you prefer? Let's take another example apart from music. Say that you bought a book. Do you prefer to have the physical copy of the book, or do you prefer to have the e-book or the PDF version of it? Usually, when you buy the physical copy of it, you would have access to the e-book. Which one of those do you use more? If you have an e-book, you can refer to it from anywhere you are. However, if you have the physical book, it's much easier for you to underline, to highlight, or to write anything on it. You can still do all of those on your e-book. So, it depends on which one do you prefer more. Think back on what digital goods have you purchased and how your purchases have changed over the past years. I would say that most of us are more open on purchasing digital goods than we did back in the days. Types of e-commerce. There are three major types, which are business to consumer B2C, business to business B2B, and consumer to consumer C2C. These are categorized according to the nature of the participants. Mobile commerce, MCommerce, is a category based on the nature of the connection to the internet. What is B2C? It is the transaction conducted directly between the company and also the consumers. Examples given here are Barnes and Noble.com. Can you think of other examples of B2C? Booking.com, Netflix, McDonald's, and Coca-Cola are other examples of B2C. What is B2B? Products and services of the business are marketed to other businesses. For example, advertising agencies, web hosting, graphic design services, and businesses that buy in bulk to resell. C2C is the transaction between the consumer to consumer. For example, eBay, Etsy, Craigslist, Lelong.com, any bidding, auction, and also pre-loved items. E-commerce can be categorized by platform. So, what are the differences between e-commerce and MCommerce? It can be in terms of the mobility. Mobile commerce, MCommerce, it implies the use of mobile devices. As long as they can access the internet on their smartphones, they can perform any transaction on the go. In terms of reachability, MCommerce can be done anywhere, anytime, and on the go. E-commerce, that stands for electronic commerce, it can be done over the internet, so maybe using the desktop computers or any laptops. MCommerce is more convenient in terms of the location tracking as it can use the GPS technology in the mobile phones. That allows personalization to be done automatically based on the location. E-commerce business models. Just to recap, e-commerce it stands for electronic commercial transactions conducted by electronic means on the internet. There are many business models that are available. Can you think of examples on each of these models? Portal is currently being used by Shopee, Lazada, and also Zalora. What about e-tailer? What is e-tailer? It is the activity of selling retail goods on the internet. It can be any store or individual who does business only on the internet. For example, Amazon, which is a B2C. Content provider, it is a website or organization that handles the distribution of online contents. It gets the content from others or create the content themselves. For example, BBC and CNN. They are the content provider that acts as intermediary between original creators of the work and the people who view or read it. Other examples of content providers are Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram. Make sure that you are not confused between content creators and also content provider. For example, when you create a video, you are the content creator. When you post it on YouTube, YouTube is the content provider. Other business models are transaction broker, which is the real estate services to buyers and sellers. Market creator, that create markets, listing buyers and sellers, for example, eBay. Service provider, that can be an application tool that is designed to help them sell their services and products online. And there's also a community provider, example, using Facebook and Twitter to sell any products. How are those business models create revenue? They can generate income from advertising, sales, subscription, free or freemium, transaction fee, and through affiliation. What is freemium? When you have the basic features, that is free. If you want to upgrade it, then you will be charged for it. How to generate an income through affiliation? You can promote a product and get paid a commission when people buy something through your site, for example. How has e-commerce transformed marketing? Internet provides new ways to identify and communicate with customers. It has long-tail marketing and internet advertising formats. In terms of the behavioral targeting, it tracks the online behavior of individuals. They also use programmatic ad buying and also native advertising. Think back and describe your experiences with advertising on social networks. For example, Facebook ads and also YouTube ads. What kind of advertisements that pop up? You'll come to realize that those advertisements are on something that you are interested in. That is mainly because they have been tracking your online behavior. Website visitor tracking. E-commerce websites and advertising platforms like Google's DoubleClick have tools to track a shopper's every step through an online store and then across the web as shoppers move from site to site. Close examination of customer behavior at a website selling women's clothing shows what the store might learn at each step and what actions it could take to increase sales. This figure illustrates how clickstream tracking works and what the store can tell about the activities of a shopper on their website. Extensive metrics exist for various types of user behavior, from the time spent on a web page to the number of products ordered and placed in a shopping cart but not purchased. Going back to this figure, it shows the process of tracking website visitors. The shopper clicks on the home page. The store can tell that the shopper arrived from the Yahoo portal at 2:30 p.m., which might help determine staffing and customer service centers and how long she lingered on the home page, which might indicate trouble navigating the site. Tracking beacons load cookies on the shopper's browser to follow her across the web. Click 2 to click 5, the shopper clicks on blouses, clicks to select a woman's white blouse, and then clicks to view the same item in pink. The shopper clicks to select this item in size 10 in pink and clicks to place it in her shopping cart. This information can help the store determine which sizes and colors are more popular. If the visitor moves to a different site, ads for pink blouses will appear from the same or a different vendor. Click 6. From the shopping cart page, the shopper clicks to close the browser to leave the website without purchasing the blouse. This action could indicate the shopper changed her mind or that she had a problem with the website's checkout and payment process. Such behavior might signal that the website was not well designed. If you watched the movie called The Intern that came out in 2015, it shows a bit on how they are tracking the online behavior of the customer. I have shared the link on Padlet. Website personalization. Firms can create unique personalized web pages that display content or ads for products or services of special interest to individual users, improving the customer experience and creating additional value. This figure illustrates some of the types of personalization that clickstream tracking can make possible. You can go to Amazon.com to see how the recommender systems work. You can try and search for a product and then scroll to the bottom of the page where Amazon's recommender will tell you what other people who looked at the current page actually bought. Netflix is also an excellent site to demonstrate personalization. Going back to this figure, it shows 3 examples of personalization between a user and a website. In the first, the website presents a message that reads, "Based on your portfolio and recent market trends, here are some recommendations." In the second example, a personalized message reads, Welcome back, Steve. Check out these recommended titles: 1-Minute Manager, Leading Change, Results-Based Leadership. The final example of a personalized message is, Sarah, here are the items you want to bid on. Based on these examples, we can see that personalized web pages can be created that display the content or ads that is of the interest to the individual. How an advertising network such as DoubleClick works. Advertising networks and their use of tracking programs have become controversial among privacy advocates because of their ability to track individual consumers across the internet. Do you know how the advertising networks follow you around the internet? It's actually quite difficult for anyone to know when they are being tracked by a network, and even more difficult to find out how the information is being used. This figure illustrates how an advertising network works. A consumer requests a web page from one of multiple ad network member sites. The merchant server connects to a DoubleClick ad server. The DoubleClick ad server reads the cookie and checks a user profile database for the consumer's profile. It then selects and serves the consumer an appropriate banner ad based on his or her profile. DoubleClick continues to follow the consumer from site to site through the use of tracking programs. What is cookie? It stores bits of information about your interaction with the website, which web server can use later when processing your sessions. Have you used incognito on your web browser? Do you think it helps to disable the tracking programs that advertising networks use? Incognito doesn't mean that you are anonymous. It doesn't hide the browsing from people, internet service provider, or the websites. However, it means that the browser does not save the cookies or any browsing history. Search engine optimization in e-commerce. What is SEO? It is the scientific art of optimizing your website around specific keywords in order to rank higher in search results, such as in Google. How does Google search help? It reveals answers to the widest range of questions around the topic. It also uses better images, videos, or examples to explain your points. It provides a better user experience via a faster site, a better mobile experience, and a more intuitive interface. It also gets people talking about you and linking back to you. The best e-commerce SEO strategy includes keyword research to find the types of keywords customers are searching, site architecture based on your keyword research, on-page SEO through strategic keyword optimization in meta text and content, technical SEO to help ensure search engines can crawl to your site efficiently. Local SEO to help drive local organic traffic if you have a brick and mortar, meaning that you have a physical shop. Content marketing to drive additional organic visitors. Link building to help improve the authority of your website. And measuring SEO success with tools like Google Analytics. To know more about all of these strategies, you can click on this link on your slide. Social e-commerce and social network marketing. Why is this important? People are easily being influenced through social media and anything that is going viral. Social e-commerce is the use of social networks in the context of an e-commerce transaction. This is where user contributes in assisting online buying and selling of any products and services. Social e-commerce is based on the digital social graph. The features of social e-commerce driving its growth based on the newsfeed, timelines, social sign-on, collaborative shopping, network notification, and social search through recommendations. Social media is a platform for social networking. It is the fastest growing media for branding and also for marketing. In social network marketing, it seeks to leverage individuals' influence over others. It targets a social network of people that share the same interests and also advice. For example, Facebook's social network has grew rapidly. Facebook's like button is being used as a way for social network marketing. This is because social networks have huge audiences. Can you think of any example that uses social network as a way for marketing their products? For example, have you tried making dalgona coffee? It was viral a few weeks ago. So, just based on dalgona coffee, what do you think have been marketed? People have been searching and purchasing Nescafe, different brands of milk, and even looking into alternatives if they cannot have coffee. So we can conclude from here that user contributes in assisting other users in online buying and selling of products, for example, to create the dalgona coffee at home. Another example that I can think of is about Thermomix. Have you heard of Thermomix? Thermomix is a kitchen appliance that can blend, cook, and mix all the ingredients. This is an example of using individuals' influence over others. Nabila Huda, an artist in Malaysia, she has been promoting Thermomix on her Instagram. She has been showing how she uses Thermomix, what can she make using it, and that influenced other people to also purchase the Thermomix. We can see a lot of other social network marketing that happens for many other products. Other than social network marketing, there's also social shopping sites, wisdom of crowds, and also crowdsourcing. So basically, we would go through the reviews on that website before we decide on whether to purchase the products or not. Think about it. How do you know that the reviews on that website about that products or services are being written by someone who have purchased or have used the services? It is, however, an effective way to gain the trust of the users about the services or products that they sell. What is the role of MCommerce in business, and what are the most important MCommerce applications? MCommerce, or mobile commerce, is the use of wireless mobile devices for purchasing goods and services. MCommerce in 2017 is 35% of all e-commerce. It is the fastest growing form of e-commerce, where it grows at 20% or more per year. The main areas of growth in MCommerce would be in mass market retailing, for example, Amazon and eBay, sales of digital content, and in music, TV, and also in-app sales to mobile devices. Can you think of any examples of applications and services that you use on your cell phones? Have you purchased any games or entertainment? For example, Netflix. So that is sales of digital content. There are several packages of it. So you can choose maybe the premium, mobile, standard, or if you just want the basic. Another example that I can think of is Pokemon Go. I think I asked in class before, and some of you are still playing it. So Pokemon Go, it has the in-app sales where you can buy passes for any of the events that they have. So in MCommerce, which is mobile commercial transactions, you can use online banking or even WhatsApp for any transactions or any purchases that you want to do. Location-based services and applications. It is used by 74% of smartphone owners. It is based on GPS map services. Geosocial services are used to know the location of your friends, and geo-advertising is to know what shops are nearby. This allows you to know the local shops rather than general shops that can be anywhere in the world. For example, if you use Booking.com, it detects the currency automatically. Similarly, in geo-information services, it can provide the price of the house that you are passing, for example. It means that it can locate where you are. Google Maps is the most common example of location-based services. Another example is Foursquare. Other mobile commerce services include financial account management apps, for example, in banks and also credit card companies. There are also mobile advertising market. For example, Google's and Facebook are the largest markets, and ads are being embedded in games, videos, and mobile apps. 55% of online retailers have MCommerce websites. They support mobile devices, or if they do not, they have the mobile application. What issues must be addressed when building an e-commerce presence? The most important management challenges is in developing clear understanding of business objectives and knowing how to choose the right technology to achieve those objectives. It is useful to develop an e-commerce presence map where it covers 4 areas: the websites, email, social media, and also the offline media. Building a website involves a number of considerations. If it's an e-commerce site, customer preferences should be the driving force behind the design. What are the customers looking for? How can they find it on your site? And how easily can they purchase on your site? You have to think about the technology. What about your site's information policy? Customers would expect you to know all the details of it. When you are building an e-commerce presence, you need to develop a timeline and also the milestone, where you can break your project into several discrete phases. An e-commerce presence requires firms to consider the 4 types of presence with specific platforms and activities associated with each of those. The 4 types of presence are websites, email, social media, and offline media. A website presence uses traditional mobile and tablet platforms and activities which include search, display apps, affiliates, and sponsorships. An email presence uses platforms of internal lists and purchase lists with activities of newsletters, updates, and sales. A social media presence uses the platforms of Facebook, Twitter, and blogs and involve the activities of conversation, engagement, sharing, and also advice. The last one, which is the offline media presence, it uses the platforms of print and TV and also the radio that involve the activities of education, exposure, and also branding. Examples of print could be any lookbook or catalogs that they have. In summary, we have looked at what is e-commerce, the features of e-commerce, digital markets, and also digital goods. We have looked at the principle of e-commerce business and technology, and also the different models. We have also looked at the applications and tools that are used for digital marketing. I have posted some questions on your online learning. Please answer those questions, and we are going to discuss more on this topic in our next class. That's all. Thank you.